Many years ago, during the 19th century of the MS calendar, there was once a boy of age 10 known as Eddie, who disliked school aside from one lesson. He just came back from school and started writing in his diary. In his mind are words translating from brain to page.
Dear Diary, today's school was slightly more fun than before. There was no fun to be had in lessons aside from science as usual, and break time wasn't any longer. There was one thing that made it a more enjoyable day. Today, they announced a contest.
As he was writing all of his thoughts down, he started remembering what happened that day. There he was, simply staring at the poster as he was rushing out of the classroom because it's break time. The only thing that snapped him out of immobilization was just walking right up to him. His worst enemy was staring with a smiling frown.
Sophie, why am I not surprised? He said.
Hello, Eddie. Why aren't you a non-handsome guy today?
She said.
Are you here just to make me feel bad?
Not really. I'm just here to enter the contest. I hope you enter as well, just to see you lose.
The memory came to an end with Eddie writing the last words.
I decided to enter the contest and get my revenge on the worst face to grace the planet.
For the rest of the evening, Eddie worked on what he likes to call his greatest invention. An invention so great that it could get him a job at an age very young. Tomorrow became today, and the contest was being held right away. As the contest began, so did a small speech from Mr. Stevens. Welcome to this school's biggest event, a contest of all things. Usually, we would have this in the hall, but due to some buzzing situations, we moved it to the cafeteria. Now let's start this with the number one student, Barry. Barry came on stage and started presenting his project. What number one material does he have up his sleeve?
This is the history of this school,
he said.
It started as a small home that belonged to a true hero named Corey. For many years he had hoped to make a building that anyone could come to and learn new fascinating things. He made his dream come true when he won in a gambling bet, and thus this school was born.
The audience wasn't clapping. One of them shouted out,
Can we go home?
Ignoring the little pest, Mr. Stevens started announcing the next one on stage. Sophie! Sophie came jumping on the stage shouting,
Hello, everybody!
Quiet! Interrupted Mr. Stevens. Sophie and Eddie! Shock! Horror! Sophie looked surprised in a bad way.
I'm coming!
That shouting from far, far away came from Eddie himself.
Hello, girls and boys! I present to you my greatest invention!
Eddie then attached the invention on her. Sophie didn't budge. The sooner he pressed the button, the worse things got. Eddie stared in horror. Behind him was Mr. Stevens, who then shouted to Eddie so that everyone could hear him. You will have detention for as long as you live!
No! Huh?
Would you look at that? It was just a dream. Eddie, fearing this might actually happen, threw the bomb out of the window. The sooner it landed, the sooner the worst happened.
Oh my god, he's dead!
Eddie went under the blanket completely, hoping what he heard wasn't true.
Oh, thank God you're okay!
Eddie gave a huge sigh of relief and went back to sleep. Wasn't that a great story, kids?